Hi friends, it's Chari. Today I have a really cute and fun baby card to share with you using the new Capybaras stamp set. So I have my Capybaras stamp set and I am using 3 of those capybaras. And then I'm also using the basket from Spring Basket to create a little basket for my baby capybara to be in. I am stamping all of my images using lawnfawn jet black ink on white cardstock, and I will be coloring with my Copic markers. So I'm starting out with a darker brown here. This is the E15, and I am just coloring in my shadows on my capybara. And then I will come in with that E13 and start to blend that out. So you can see I'm pulling that up, not all the way to the edge, and then I'll go and fill in the white. Now I am going to probably come back in with that E15 and add some more shading. But I also want to color in his feet and his nose, and I like to do this with a darker brown. If you look at pictures of capybaras, they have a different colored snout and different colored feet, and I just think that this is really cute to use a different color brown. I am going to go ahead and color in the snout and the feet on the other ones here using that E25. And then I'm actually going to pull in an even darker brown, so I have an E27. I'm just adding a little bit of shadow to those darker brown areas. So just kind of the bottom of their snouts and just a little dot on the bottom of their feet. Now I'm going back to that E15 and E13, and I will color the other 2 capybaras in the same way that I colored the first one. So starting out with that E15 in the kind of darker shadow areas, and then blending out with that E13. And of course, I need to do the same thing to the little baby as well. I just think these little capybaras are so cute, and they made the cutest baby card once I was finished. I just love how this card turned out. Now for the basket, I wanted to add some color here since all of my critters are brown. So I am using some yellows for the basket itself to add a little bit of color to my images. And I'm using 2 shades of yellow, so you can see I did the darker first and now I'm blending out with the lighter. So I did the darker kind of underneath the ruffle, along the bottom. And then once I have that colored in, I'm pulling an even darker yellow, and I just like to highlight that little marking on the basket, that hash mark there. And then for the ruffle, I thought I would do green. Now you could change up the colors for all these images to make it match the baby that you are giving this card to, whether it be a boy or a girl. I kind of wanted to make it a little more general, so I'm going with green for the ruffle and purple for the bow. That bow is also from the Spring Basket stamp set. And I am actually using some BV purples, so a little more blue purple than red purple today. Then I will line up all the coordinating dies and cut out all of my images, and you can see here just how cute that little baby is in the basket. I just think it's adorable. So let's move on to the other parts of our card. I'm using the new Gleeful Gradients paper pack for my background, and I was looking to see kind of which looks best for a baby card, and I decided to go with that blue to pink kind of tones. It actually kind of really goes well with the idea of making this a more general baby card that could be for a baby boy or a baby girl. We have both colors on this background. I think these make great backgrounds. It's like the ink blending is already done for you. And for this one, I'm going to cut it out with the dotted stars and moons backdrop, and this is the portrait orientation. And I am just lining that up, run it through my die cut machine, and I have this cute little background with the stars and the moons and those little dotted details. I am adding some gold metallic watercolor, so I have some shimmer, and I decided to go with the more muted golds here, so those more lighter tones, not those really yellow ones, so that they're a little more subtle in the background. But I just think it gives a nice subtle shimmer to the background of this card. So I'll let that dry so I don't smudge any of my splatters, and once that's dry, I can layer this over top of a piece of sticky note cardstock. Now this is going to show through those openings, and we are going to see little yellow stars and moons on our background. I did have to change glue tubes. That one was done. I had used it all up, so I needed a fresh glue tube, and this allows me to kind of shift it around, make sure it's nice and lined up. I like to use my desk to make sure it's nice and lined up, and then I'll just press that down so everything is stuck down really well. Then I can add this to my card base. And I just love this background. It looks perfect for a baby card. And you could use any of those gradients depending on what colors you wanted. Now I wanted to create a focal point for my little characters. So I pulled out the doily hearts die. I cut that from that same sticky note cardstock. So I have that same yellow. And now I need to kind of assemble my critters onto this doily. So I need to put my little baby in the basket there, and I grabbed the wrong glue tube again, but we're going to get the one that has some glue in it. I'm adding the little bow, and then I put some foam squares all over the back so that this is popped up a little bit off of that doily. So I'll just center up the basket. I do like to make sure that my doily is straight, so I like to put a heart at the top and a heart at the bottom. You could also turn it to where you had it between the hearts, just depending on the look that you wanted. And then I added my basket to the center. Now I can add my other two capybaras using some foam squares on each side. And this creates the cutest little scene on this doily. I just think that doily looks perfect for this baby card. Then I added foam squares all over the back of the doily, and I am just going to pop this right onto my card. And I am making sure it's kind of up towards the top a little bit, so that I can put my sentiment below. And I used Oliver's ABCs to cut out the word baby. This is cut from some mermaid cardstock. Again, sticking with not just pink, not just blue, we're mixing all the colors together. And then I found the word welcome in the little bundle stamp set, and I just love the font of this. So I'm stamping this in some storm cloud ink, so it's not black, it's just a dark gray to kind of go with the softer colors of this card. I stamped this on some speckled eggshell cardstock, and I'm cutting it out with a sentiment banner. Now, this is longer than I want it to be, but instead of trimming it down first, I decided to put it on my card first because I wanted this to come out from under the capybaras and hang off the side of the doily. So you can see I trimmed off the right side, and now I'm going to line it up and trim off the left side. So I'm just lining the die back up, and it's just trimming off that fishtail on each side. And I just think this makes the perfect little place for these capybaras to kind of sit. It gives a nice little base or floor for the images, and that welcome kind of fits right in there perfectly. And I just love how that turned out. Now for the die cut letters baby, I'm going to line this up on my mat, and I'm using my block to kind of bump against the bottom and make sure they're all nice and straight. Then I will take a piece of removable tape. So this is removable Scotch tape. I like using this for this technique because it's clear and I can see through it really well. And I'm just going to pick up all those letters and flip this over. And then I want these to be popped up too. I want these to be popped up just like my images. And so I am pulling out that thin foam strips, and I'm just going to cut these to go on the back of all the letters. These fit perfectly on the back of these letters. And once I have that foam all over, I can pull off that liner paper. And since I used the tape to pick up all these letters, I can just stick the whole thing down as one word. And I can see exactly where to line it up. And I'll just put that in place, kind of tap it down and make sure that that foam is nice and stuck down. And since I use that removable tape, it is very easy to pull off. Now, of course, we can't forget our embellishments, so I have my stickles here. I'm adding glitter accents to the bow, to the ruffle on the basket, and then I also added glitter to the bottom of the letters, almost like we just dipped them in some glitter. And of course, we need some little pops of pink with those little guava hearts cut from the Hearts and Stars Skinny Tag die. and I just found my placement, and now I'm just dropping them back in place with a little bit of liquid glue. And here is that finished baby card. I love the shimmer in the background and that fun backdrop die. I love the focal point with the doily, and it was really fun to use those capybaras to make this baby card. I love how it turned out. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day. Bye!